Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the etiquette webinar. I'm going to share my screen in just a few. Like I just said, if you're just joining us, all of our enlightening events. Hi, Judah Jameson. Hi, guys. If you don't feel comfortable with keeping your camera on, all of our events are recorded, so you can turn
Hi.
your camera off. Hi, guys. Thank you for being here. We got people still coming in. Oh my goodness. Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started. So, one other thing, please make sure that you keep yourselves muted during this time. We'll give you a chance to speak. There will be chances for you to unmute yourselves and to talk with us. But please make sure you keep your microphones muted while we're chatting and while we're presenting today. Also, reactions. I see that you guys are excited. I'm glad that you're thumbsing up, but don't do it to where it's too distracting. If it does become too much of a distraction, we will have to remove you from the webinar, and we don't want to have to do that. So, please keep those to a minimum. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I just let another person in here and we can officially get started. I will let Ms. Bennett introduce herself, and I guess I should introduce myself when she's done, and then we'll for real get started.
Hello, I'm Miss Bennett, and I'm so glad to see you today. Today, we're going to talk about manners matter and how we can use that in our school and in our everyday lives. And I'm so excited to see you today. Yes, I teach electives here, some offline electives with Enlightening Academy. And so you may have seen my name before if you are taking offline PE or offline fine arts or world languages. So I'm so glad to see you face to face. And we're gonna have a lot of fun today. I'm so glad you're here.
Yes. Yes, thank you so, so much. All right, you guys, I am Mrs. Cook. Hopefully you know me, and if you don't, I'm the Associate Director of Student Life, so I handle all things, all the fun stuff. So your social clubs, all of our events, our in-person things, so like our eat and greets and our college tours and our in-person trips. So you see my name and you will see my name all over the place throughout the school year. So I hope to see you at our student chapels and our other events for the rest of the school year. So we'll officially get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Really excited to have you all here today. See, there we go.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And
Oh,
I want you to think for a second, and I want you to consider what you think manners are and why do you think we want to talk about it? Just kind of take about 10 seconds, just kind of think, what are manners? Why are they important? And why do we need to talk about them at all? Right? Just about 10 seconds. Let's think about that. Well, and we'll get the presentation started. But, hmm, can anybody, so that we everybody has the ability to type and chat? Yes. Okay. So go ahead and let me know what you think manners are. Just give me an example of what you think manners are.
there we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It muted me for a second, and I was like, "Well, I gotta talk. I don't know." Okay. Well, now that everybody's kind of had a second to think about it, let's go ahead and get started with what it actually is and how we're going to address it. So, there are a lot of different, and this is a four-part webinar as well. So, we're not going to talk about everything that deals with manners today. We're going to talk about just a little bit of it, and we'll continue talking about how manners matter in three other webinars. And so what's so exciting about this is that if you take a look here, we have Albert. Has anyone ever seen Albert before on the website somewhere? You can raise your hand, yeah. So
Hopefully
Albert
I
is one
have.
of our fun little characters that we have here at Enlightium. And so by attending today's webinar, you get your first character card. And so what's going to happen is that after you attend all of the webinar, at the end of the webinar, I'm going to send you a link to a printable character card that you can collect after attending all of our webinars. So you'll have Albert today after you attend all of today. And then when you attend the next one, you'll get another character. And then when you attend the next one, you get another character. And then you can collect them all. And that's just a lot of fun. I love to collect little character cards and little memorabilia and things like that when I do fun things. And so I thought that would be a great idea. And so
Yes.
make sure you stay till the end so you can get the link to that character card, and then you'll be able to print it out and have it. And all right, so why do manners matter? Why should we say please? Why should we say thank you? So here are some things that make manners matter, right? Manners help us to show respect. You know, they help us communicate with others. through communication, through your messages with Ignitia and your emails to your teachers and to, communicating through these live sessions, right? Manners matter because it shows responsibility. Manners matter because it shows that you're prepared. It helps us prepare for our classes and for different situations that might arise, right? And manners show that we can be positive, a positive influence, and that we're courteous. And so what we're going to do is we're going to really look at each of these as we go through the presentation, and we're going to discuss in depth what respect means as far as matters and so on. So let's talk about respect first. Okay? I'm gonna make sure I want to say everything. Okay. So when we look at respect, saying please and thank you show you care about a person, right? We don't have to say those things, but it does let the person know that we do care about what they say or what they have to say, right? So if we say, may I please have that form for that class, or may I please have more information. It shows that we care about the information. It shows that we care about the class, and it shows that we care about what the person has to say and how they can help us. So, and when we say thank you, it lets the person know that we appreciate their help. And while we don't have to say those things, it does allow the person to kind of feel, oh well, they do care about what I have to say, and it's nice to appreciate those that help us. Polite subject lines. So we're in a digital world, right? And so within Lighting Academy, there's a lot of communication through Ignitia. There's a lot of communication through emails and and messaging. So making sure that we use those uh, um, making sure that we use our manners while we communicate through our digital platform is important. And so one way to ensure that we show respect is that we can go ahead and set the tone for our messaging through our subject lines or through our greetings. We could say, "Oh, hello." I'll just use myself as an example. "Oh, hello, Miss Bennett. Thank you so much for today, for the information you gave us today." Or in the subject line, you could say, you know, well, we'll see an example on the next one because I'm drawing a blank immediately. But unless, how about you tell me a good greeting to give an instructor in Ignitia? Say you need to message an instructor in Ignitia. What's a good greeting that you could give? And a greeting's like, like hello, but how could you put that in a message? Because right now it's easy because we're talking face to face and we can just be like, hey, how are you? It's so good to see you. But how could we write that in a message and be respectful in a message? Should we say, Miss Bennett, you need to listen to me. Miss Bennett, you know, how could we give a good greeting? Could we say, oh, Miss Bennett, it's so good to talk to you today, right? Go ahead and setting that tone of respect and being polite, or like say we need to talk to a friend, be like, oh, it's so good to talk to you, Susan. I'm so glad you're here, or I'm so glad you're in this class. I'm so glad you're in my work group, or I'm so glad you're in my breakout group, something like that. Um, and then if we keep going, it says in closings, um, well, so let's look at these two examples. Here we have, subject, question about homework. Hi, Miss Lee. I hope you are having a nice day. Can you help me with the homework? Thank you for your time, from Sue. Or we have, this homework is a waste of time. Hey, I don't understand homework. Fix it. Yes. Hmm. Which one do you think? Do you think one, question about homework, or two, this homework is a waste of time, is respectful? Which one? Is one respectful or two respectful? Hmm. Yeah, I don't see your names, but yes, I do see some of you raising the one. That's great. Let's see. I wonder if I can. Oh, and Lewis, I just saw your message. Yes, manners are how well you treat people, and that's very good. And we're going to talk more about that now. And you're doing a great job. Everybody's doing a great job. I'm so glad. And I know a lot of you kept your uh cameras on, and so I'm so glad to see everyone. And okay, but let's keep talking about communication. All right, so using good manners helps us message helps our messages make sense and avoid misunderstanding, right? If we have good communication and we really think about what we're trying to say to the other person and try to think of it from their point of view, right? Like would they be able to understand what I'm writing? um it shows good manners because it shows that we care, that they understand, right? That we are careful with our words, that they understand. So when you use words that are polite and easy to understand, people know they can rely on you. What does it mean to rely on someone? Hmm. Anybody want to take a put in the chat? But we can keep going too. I'll keep my eye on the chat. I'd gotten a little distracted and forgot to look over there. So but yeah, or raise your hand and we can try to let you talk too. Or what does it mean to rely on someone? Anybody want to take a try?
Maddie has her hand raised over there.
Yes, Maddie.
All I was gonna say is you're glitching a little bit, so I can't
Oh,
really hear you.
I don't know how to fix that.
it's all clear on my end. It may just be a connection issue on your end. But if you have any issues with viewing this video now or it's glitchy, we will have a recording available later, okay?
Okay.
Maddie. Okay. So to rely on someone, it means that we can trust them, right? That we know that they're going to be there for us, right? So, let's look at these two emails and messages, right? This could be an email or this could be a message in Ignitia. Let's look at or Canvas. So let's look at that. So the first one, number one, you did this part. You're awesome. Hey, I can't do the report. I have other plans. You can do it for sure. You're my BFF. Bye. From Heather. Or two, help with science project. Hi, Alex. I was thinking we could divide the science project so each of us work on one part. Let me know what you think. Thanks for helping me work together. From Jan. Do you think one is good communication and shows good reliability, right? Or two is good communication? Yes, absolutely. So two is a better so and if we look at it a little better, it does kind of explain more on what Jan is trying to say, right? Heather is just like, can't do it. You're awesome. You can do it. Doesn't explain why. Like, I mean, maybe something did come up to where she can't do can't put as much effort into it as she originally planned, but she doesn't explain that. She doesn't communicate that very well in the message. And so it just kind of leaves us like, well, I am awesome, but do I want to do the whole project by myself? I don't want to do the whole project by myself. So it leaves there's lacking communication there. And but two is definitely a better example of communication. And it shows that, hey, like I think we could divide this up. Let's talk more about how we can divide this up. And so it's a better example for sure. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. Oh, yay!
Oh,
Brain. Oh, no, that's perfect.
nope.
Is it low?
It's loading. Yep, yep.
That's great. Okay, so let's just take like 30 seconds to a minute because we've already actually gone through 15 minutes of the
Oh my
webinar.
goodness,
So let's just
already?
take 30 seconds, brain break.
Lava game. When I say,
Oh, I don't see anybody moving.
lava, get off the floor. And when I say dance, dance. Dancing, dancing on the floor. Dancing, dancing, dancing. Dancing just a little bit more. But jump when I say. Five, four, three, two, one. The floor is lava!
Lava!
My son
I
used to
love
love
that.
that.
I saw some of you dancing. That was great. It's just a little brain break, a lot of words, and I need to kind of take them just a second to like, it's still fun.
Yes.
We're still moving, still getting all the blood flow into our brains, and just kind of having fun. Okay. This is fun too, though, and we need to keep talking about it because we are going to run out of time if we don't. Let me make sure that I have said everything. It's all right. So taking the time, let's talk about being responsible. Okay. So good manners show that we're responsible, shows that we care, right? So taking the time to write or speak clearly shows that you care about your words and how they affect others, right? Just kind of taking a second to think, to reading over your messages, being like, how is this person going to read? And that's something that I've noticed a lot with just communicating through messages a lot, through emails and through messages, is that sometimes we don't, like, we say it and we hear it said a certain way in our minds, and then the other person reads it and they're like, "Oh, they sound mad." But they weren't mad. They were just they maybe put a punctuation where it kind of comes out flat or something. So kind of taking a second and being responsible with how you send your messages, and just kind of like taking a step back and rereading it, maybe even saying it out loud, can sometimes help you hear how the other person may read it. So just taking the time to do that. Good manners aren't just about being polite. They're about making sure your message is kind and helpful. And it may be, just because you're sending a message asking for help, you can be helpful asking for help, if that makes sense. So if you're sending a message to someone in a group that's in your work group that you're working on a project together, or if you're sending a message to a teacher asking for help, making sure you're helpful in the way that you ask, with good communication and being kind and being very descriptive in what you need, right? But polite emails and messages make teachers and classmates and families see you as responsible and kind. You're taking a second to reread your message, to check your punctuation, and to check and make sure that the way you are communicating is kind and helpful and easy to follow. So let's look at some more examples on two different ways that somebody could send a message, and let's decide which one's responsible. Okay, so we have one question about reading assignment. Hi, Miss Johnson. I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to ask about reading assignment. Could you please explain what we should write for the summary? Thank you for your help, from Tina. Or two, reading assignment confusing. Hey, I don't get the reading. It would be better if it was easier to read. Lila. Hmm. Which one do you think shows responsibility in how they communicate and how they are showing their manners? Do you think it's one, or do you think it's two? I see some ones. I see some ones. Very good. So yes, one is showing responsibility, and that you can tell that Tina went through the message, and she said she started with a polite greeting. She continued with asking specifically what she needed. I wanted to ask a question about the reading assignment. The most specific, she didn't just say, I need to know about this assignment. Well, which assignment? I'm not sure what do you mean? Could you explain what we should write in the summary? So she was even more specific with, I need help with this one part, not, like, I don't understand it. Well, there's a lot of parts to it, right? So were we responsible in the way that we approached the assignment and approached the communication with our groups or our teachers, right? Okay, awesome. Well, let's keep going. The next,
Can I just put in one sidebar? Sorry.
yeah,
Tone,
absolutely.
you guys. Tone is a really, really big thing. You can't read people's tones and their intentions in a virtual space. We're all in a virtual space. So it's just so hard because we make a lot of assumptions on how they intended to send it versus how they actually meant to say it. So like she said, if you take time to go back and read your message or even say it out loud, you may realize that the tone of what you're sending may not sound very polite, so that you may need to rewrite it. Like things like bold capital letters demanding things. I have received emails that look just like that, or putting 77 exclamation marks behind a sentence that you wrote. You got to consider tone and how that's going to be perceived to the person you're sending it to. So always keep that in mind when you're sending out your communications.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, that's awesome. Yes, tone is extremely important. And I'm not sure. Sometimes I don't realize my cap's on, and then someone will
Hmm.
message me back, "Why did you yell at me?" Well, first of all, it was a text message. I didn't yell at you. But sometimes it can come across that way with all caps and exclamations. You're like, "Well, hold on. I'm s- I'm sorry, whatever I did." Anyway. Well, okay. Well, let's talk about preparation. And so there's a lot of let's just go ahead and get started, and then I'll give you examples. So it says, as students grow, School, jobs, and activities often require emailing, right? Has anyone noticed as the year has gone by or as you've gotten older, you're needing to communicate with people through emails or, I mean, just verbally too, but emails and messages more often, right? As so that doesn't stop. My daughter the other day, she was like, "There's just so much." I'm like, "Yes, welcome, welcome to education and jobs." And we're just always communicating, and it can be a lot of fun if we're prepared and we're responsible and we have good manners while we're communicating with others. So, um, but good manners now equals success later, right? If we take the time to be responsible and be prepared and be kind, it will increase your success later. It's just kind of one of those things that are connected. So good manners prepare someone to use leadership skills, right? We want our leaders to be prepared, and we want our leaders to be kind. And so if someone sees that, oh, this person has those skills, yes, like you be our group leader this time, and if there's multiple people in the group that all have these great leadership skills, we can all take turns and we can work together, and
Yes.
and that's where the communication comes in. It's like, hey, we're all great leaders. Let's hear you do this part and you do this part, and the projects go so much more uh fluent that way, right? When we all have these good skills and all take the time to be prepared and all take the time to be responsible. So but people trust and follow those who treat others with respect and courtesy. We don't want someone who's not very nice to be like, "You need to do this," and I'm gonna go over there and eat some M&Ms or something. I don't know. Like you do the work. It's fine. That we don't want a leader that's not kind and not courteous. Okay, so let's look at some messages that would show whether or not someone may or may not be prepared, right? Prepared for, and it's not necessarily just prepared for an assignment necessarily. It's prepared to communicate, prepared with manners, right? So let's look at these two messages. So here's the first one. Number one, subject, practice, not. Hey, coach, not sure when practice is. I don't know. No one want to do help from it's even hard for me to read and I typed it. You know, but or two, subject, practice plan idea. Hi, Coach Taylor. I was thinking about our next practice and I had an idea to try a new drill that would help our team improve passing and teamwork. Thank you for your guidance. From Philip. All right, so which one do you think is more prepared? One or two?
Gabby, you want
Oh,
to
I
answer
see some
that one?
twos. I see some twos. I got some laughs in the chat. So a success. I got a laugh. No. Yes. So it doesn't we don't even know who it is because it just says me. Like we don't even know the person's name. So me, this person, wasn't very prepared, right? They didn't come into the message with much thought of what they were trying to communicate, right? They didn't uh prepare to send the message by rereading it and making sure there weren't any spelling errors because I mean they all are so interconnected, right? I mean this is poor communication, this is poor preparedness, and this isn't being courteous of their time, right? Like the coach is going to open this and be like, "What? What?" They're not going to know how to respond, and so it's just not very efficient. And but two is definitely a great way. They introduce they prepared their message. You could tell they read through it, right? After writing it, they read through it. They made sure it's exactly what they wanted to say before they sent it. Courteous introduction. This is exactly what I want to talk about with you, and thank you so much for your time. And then they gave their name so they can get back in touch with them. And so yes, you're exactly right. Two is definitely the correct one. All right. Staying positive. So important. Okay. Have y'all ever heard attitudes contagious? All right. It's one of my favorite things. I had an elementary teacher had a big banner in her room. I remember it from like first or second grade. She had a big banner in her room that says attitudes contagious. It's true. So being
Okay.
positive, if we're positive, people around us tend to want to be positive too. If we're having a good, we're happy, we're dancing during the brain break. No, but if we're happy and have a positive attitude, people around us tend to be positive too. So, Manners help prevent messages from sounding bossy or rude or hurtful, right? And this goes back to tone too. And it may be something that you don't mean to do. That's why it's so important to reread your messages before you send it. When you're positive, your words come out friendlier and with more respect. And a positive outlook helps you handle mistakes or disagreements politely, right? If we go into a message, say we get a message and we read it and we get very defensive right away. We're like, "What? How could they say that to me?" Well, first of all, let's give them grace first, right? Like let's read it and be like, well, maybe they didn't mean it like that. You know what? Let me go ahead and message them back and say, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you about this," and just kind of be positive about it, even though they may have come across a little bossy. Maybe they didn't mean to, and kind of have that attitude going into it. Maybe they didn't mean to. You know what? Let me message them really quick and just say, "Hey, would you like to talk about this some more?" Instead of getting frustrated immediately, you know, and just kind of taking time with that. But let's look at some examples. Okay, we have two. Number one, team project. Hey, I see your idea, but I think my ideas might work better. So let me know, Sydney. Or two, project idea for class. Hi, Mia. I noticed we have different ideas for our team project. I think your idea is really interesting. I was thinking, we could try combining our ideas. What do you think? Thanks for working together, from Trinity. So which one do you think is better? One is more positive or two is more positive?
Joseph, I see your hand
Absolutely.
raised. You answer it for us, Joseph. See your hand raised over there.
Number two,
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Why do you think number two is better?
because it's more polite.
It's definitely more polite. And it's got more of this like positive teamwork attitude, right? Like, hey, it acknowledges that the other person did a really good job too. And it doesn't, acknowledging that someone else does a good job doesn't take away from, how well we're doing too. It's, you're just, hey, you did a great job and I'm doing a great job too. Let's figure out how to do this together. And acknowledging that they're working hard too is really important. Awesome. Let's keep going because we are running out of time.
Yes.
All right. And now let's talk about being courteous. Courteous means noticing other people's feelings and needs, which is at the heart of good manners, right? Um, when you are courteous, people feel safe and valued and respected, and which means that it's what manners are supposed to do, right? And setting a positive example and prevent arguments and misunderstandings. So just concentrating most on the first one. Let's look. Courteous means noticing other people's feelings, right? We take a second when we reread it, think, how are they going to read this? How are they going to see this? And how are my manners, are they able to see it, right? Are they able to see that I'm taking the time to consider their feelings when writing this? So let's look at some examples. All right, number one, clarifying homework. Hi, Miss Carter. I just wanted to make sure I understand the homework correctly. Don't want to make a mistake. Thank you for your help. From Natasha. Or homework. Hi. I don't see why we have to do this homework this way. Last year was different. So isn't there a better way? I mean, I'll just think I'll skip it. From Angelica. So what do you think shows more of a courteous attitude? One or two? Which one shows that we understand that they have feelings and that they worked hard on the assignment? Which one? One or two? Which one's better? I see a hand and I see one. Is one. Yes. Well, let's see. We'll just, because we're running out of time. One, yes, y'all are doing a great job. So yes, one is the more courteous message, and it's a great example. Very good. Oh, well, and I'm not sure, do we have time for another brain break, or what do we have afterwards? I'm not,
That's it.
oh, that was it. Well, okay, so let me go ahead and get you your link for your card. Y'all did such a great job today, and I'm so happy to meet all of you. And I hope that was a great introduction to our webinar series, just to kind of talk about a little bit how manners matter, right? Especially in the way we communicate here. And it shows a lot of great attitudes to want to improve that about ourselves, right? So here is the link to your character card. And I'm so glad again that you were able to come. Here I go.
Yes,
Movie.
so many
So,
beautiful faces.
yes, and you should be able to just open that, and I think it's a JPEG maybe. And but if it doesn't for whatever reason, if you have any difficulty with downloading it or opening it, please let me know. I did open up the sharing settings, so you should be able to access that pretty easily. And but if you have any questions or need help with that, please let me know and I can help you with that. And it was so great to meet everybody, and I can't wait to see y'all for the next one.
Bye, guys. Don't worry, we'll have more
Bye.
chances to chat. We have
Bye.
3 more.
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your week. Many blessings. Love you all. Thank you for being here.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.